Hey guys, my name is Ella Michelle. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your subscription and, of course, your support in the past few weeks. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different from what I've shared with you some weeks ago. This time around, I'm focusing on natural disasters. For those of us who may or may not follow international news, there's been quite a number of natural disasters happening in certain parts of the world. In Morocco, for instance, we know that over 1,000 people have been killed and many have been displaced because a 6.8 magnitude earthquake shook Marrakesh, of course, in Morocco on Friday, September 8th. Here in the States, the major conversation has been on hurricane because we are still in the hurricane season. Hurricane season starts from the 1st of June to sometime in November. And usually in the middle of August, we see a lot of these, hurricane activities taking place through to September and sometimes October. And as I said, it's supposed to end in November. In Florida, just on the 30th of August, they experienced a Category 3 hurricane known as Idalia. Category 3 simply means that it is catastrophic, and of course, we should expect some major damages, just as it has been reported by international news. So I decided to, reach out to Ghanaians, particularly in Florida, because I know that we are, spread across everywhere. Everywhere you can find a Ghanaian. So I was like, this will be interesting if I have a story from a Ghanaian who has experienced, any hurricane at all, even if it's this year's own or last year's own. I was able to get one, and he's called Mr. Fred Waffle. He experienced Ian, which was last year with his wife and family. But we do also understand from the Ghanaian community that a number of Ghanaians have been affected by this year's Hurricane Idalia, even though I haven't been able to reach out to them and speak to them on the subject. So I'm going to play that conversation with you. Just a few things for you to know. When I was having this conversation with Mr. Waffle, there were some internet, situations. I do not want to fully edit everything now because this is somebody who's telling his story. So I really want you to pay attention to the story. So bear with me if you see or, if you encounter some glitch. So let's go watch the video or a conversation between me and Mr. Fred Waffle. First time in Florida, how were you preparing towards it? What were you expecting?
That was my first time. And the preparation was like being the first time, and what my brothers was telling me about it was like it's gonna be a light out. So being a light out, at that time I was having a 2 case, the little case. So all the preparation was kind of making sure that I get water, I get case food, in case when the light goes off, food that we can eat without a light. So that was the preparation that I was making towards the hurricane.
Take us through the experience. It was your first time. How horrifying was this for you and your toddlers?
How the whole thing started, I was at work. I do a construction work, that is a plumbing. So I go out of town, Florida, that is Orlando to Tampa. It's like an hour to 30 minutes drive. So I was there. When I go, normally it's like I go on Monday and return on Friday after work. So I think it happened on the Thursday. They closed the job site down. Like, okay, hey guys, you guys cannot work because the hurricane coming. So I was in the hotel room and I call my boss. Hey, boss man, this is what the big bosses are saying, that the hurricane coming. So they're gonna close the job site down. So we guys all have to evacuate and leave the job site. And I said, oh, okay, Fred, if that is the case, let's go pack our tools and go home. My wife called me. It's like, babe, hey, are you coming home? I said, yeah, babe, I'm coming home. I know hurricane coming. Before that, we already make the preparation and towards the hurricane. So I just sit in my car, I drive. I was on the time that I was going, I was still on the phone with her. Back, baby, I'm coming. Everything will be okay. Don't worry about it. And I just get to Orlando. Everything was okay. I mean, that was my first time, so that's how I would see everything was okay. So I get to Orlando and everything was okay. I get where I picked my wife. We went to Walmart. We picked a few things, getting towards about the hurricane. That was my first time. So we all went to sleep around 11:30 to 12. And my wife was the first person to hear. That was my neighbor was knocking on the door. And my wife called me, babe. I hear like someone knocking on the door. I said, babe, you tripping, go to sleep. I don't hear nothing. So the second time I hear it, the neighbor was trying to look for a shovel. I wake up on the bed, and the moment that I get up from the bed, my feet, everything was like water. I said, oh my God. So we went to the door, we started taking the pictures, and the neighbor was like, hey, this is what is going on now. So you guys, if you have anywhere to go, you guys have to leave now. At that time, seriously, sister, I don't know where to go. So I started making phone calls. I mean, that time it was okay. So if you can see some of the videos, I started kind of fetching the water to throw it. I was thinking that it was something that was coming in, so I can just fetch the water, throw it away, fetch the water, throw it away. But it get to a point, I told my wife that, hey, babe, I can't do it no more. So I just gave up. We went to the bed, and 12:30 to 1, it get to West. So I started making the phone calls for help. I call my boss, I call my brother, I call anyone that I know. They were not even picking up. My boss called. My boss picked it up and was like, Fred, I know everything gonna be okay, but where I am now, I can't come all the way to your place. So the best way that you can do is you call 911 or you call the fire service. I call 911, we call the fire service. All that they were saying was like, the area that I live, they told us to evacuate from there because they can't do nothing about it. The last call that I make, I call my sister, hey sister, I even don't want to talk about this now. I'm in a danger now. If you don't hear from your brother again, that's it. Anytime that I share this story, I kind of share the tears. At that time, my daughter was a year and a half, and my son was a month old.
How the rescue mission went for you and your family?
Call my boss that, hey, we finally get a jet ski. I said, Fred, you serious? I said, yes, boss man. I have a jet ski here trying to rescue people. If you want to evacuate from your place, my cousin, I used to call him my brother. So my cousin used to work with the highway. So he have the whistle. Like, he called the guys, hey, my brother is in this room. Can you go there and rescue him? He need help. And this guy they were just a nearby guys. It's not like, what do you call it? A government guys or the fire guy. No, there were two guys that they were just going on their way.
Currently, did you have to move from the house to a new place? What was the situation?
I was already putting in, what do you call it? Application on a different apartment to move before the hurricane happened. So when it happened like that, I get a compensation from the insurance company. That's Geico. They came in and Red Cross also. Red Cross also came in and they support us. Before we moved, it wasn't easy because it's not like it just happened on my old apartment, so I can just move into the new apartment. I was still on the waiting list. They did a good job. She helped me. I went there with kids and my wife and telling her that, hey, this is my situation. And she was like, Fred, I know where you stay. Just a month or a few weeks, I'll get back to you. To a month, I wasn't hearing nothing, and I keep going there like, hey, Josie, I really need the help. I have to go and patch with a cousin, and just you should know, with my two kids, my wife and my son, it wasn't easy. I was going a whole tough time, so I kept going to the lease office. Look at this case. Look at my wife. Like, Freddie, give me a week more. So I was at work one time, then she called me, hey, Fred, you have been approved. Send all your documents, send all your what it takes, do it today, and you have been approved. You can move in the next day or the next 2 days. So, oh God, then quickly I have to call my wife. I did all the documentation and everything, and I was approved. I'm in a new place.
How did you feel hearing that another, category 4, category 3 storm is going to hit Florida again? I mean, you were even still recovering from last year's, experience. How did you feel?
I'm on the 7th floor. I'm still I still put things in place because I don't have to wait. I don't have to say that I'm in the 2nd floor, so I don't have to be prepared. When it comes to hurricane, any store that you go, Walmart, Walgreens, any store that you go, you can't even find no water. This one, the recent hurricane that just came, is in the sun. September, there's another one that coming. That is why people have to be cautious. People have to be serious about it. September, there's another one coming. Yeah. So for me, I would say I'll not say I'm fully prepared, but when it comes to hurricane and my past experience, I always make sure that I put things in place. Yeah.
I hope that the story of Fred Boafo has touched you one way or the other and has also got you thinking. Most of the times when we are trying to relocate as Ghanaians, there are a number of things that we do not take into consideration. Mind you, Florida is a good state in America. The reason why I say that is because, first of all, is the state that has about 300 days of sunshine, which, it's not many of the states that can enjoy, sunny days like Florida has. Also, it has a number of places that people always want to go to. I'm talking about Disney World. I'm talking about Universal Studios. Of course, the palm trees that are, much spoken of. So it makes the place very, very pleasing for, tourists to want to go to, aside that they have beautiful beaches. But if you're planning to stay, there are a number of things you should consider. And this I tell people all the time, that you should be looking out for a community. We Ghanaians, we know how we do. We like the Ghanaian community. We like a community. We like to be a part of something, or, people to be a part of what we do. And sometimes these places don't tend to have that, because they might not have been brought up in that particular way. So there are a number of things that you need to consider when you're doing that. But I hope this particular story shared by Mr. Fred Boafo has thrown some light, and it's more home, it's closer home than you seeing it as something happening in a foreign world. My name is Ella Michelle. Thank you so much once again for tuning in. Don't forget to keep subscribing, share, leave a comment, and I'll definitely interact with you.